Hello friends, now I am going to discuss about the continuous topic of our chapter number 6, that the people were suspicious for reforms made by the Britishers in India. So you understand that when William Bentinck came to India in the earlier period, Wellesley had spread complete power and dominance over India. But in those days, people were more angry. So, the liberal thinking having Governor General, as a liberal thinking having Governor General, William Bentinck came with intention to give more relaxation. Generally, liberal thinking of William Bentinck became popular for all people in India as a beneficial reforms. But in his time, which changes he brought were deeply impacting changes. The first one was Indians started to get jobs in company administration, and Indian people were allowed. The second one is Indian people were allowed to use mother tongue in legal proceedings or court of law. The third change is stop the evil practice of sati in 1829 by passing the law, because so many reformers like Raja Ramohan Rai was insisting to ban sati practice. Remember, so here we are discussing which reforms William Bentinck brought in India. First, we understand this. Also, to eradicating social evils is considered as the social reforms. But this change of to ban social customs like sati practice was not liked by orthodox communities and classes of Hindu community in India. So in that situation, many orthodox people were seeing to these reforms with doubt and suspicion as attack over Indian customary lifestyle. Right? So, in those days, educated Indians were supporting company for making these laws. But Orthodox people did not like it and they were angry. After and during the period of William Bentinck, East India Company had passed a resolution to spend 1 lakh rupees every year on English education. It was a resolution, I repeat. Resolution means the declaration. But how much it was implemented is the different aspect I mean to say. Remember one thing, in 1834, Lord Macaulay was a part of committee which was formed to spread English education in India. Remember, Macaulay educational method was to make the Indian Anglicized, means English speaking Indians to develop. But it was not useful, as by educationist says, it was not useful for youth. That is experts' opinion, not anyone's. Indian lost the advantage to acquire ancient knowledge, skilled development from ancestors of Indian traditions, because Macaulay had tried to give importance to the education in English language, and our Indian books were not in English language. Remember this. So Indians lost advantage of getting knowledge of ancient period of India. It is a adverse effect. Adverse means bad effect. The method of British education was to develop English speaking people only, and Mahatma Gandhi considered this method as to give millions knowledge of English is to enslave them, means education to make the Indians slave of English language. It was understood by Mahatma Gandhi and he expressed education of making slaves is his words. Remember. So our intellectuals were not opposing English, but our intellectuals were supporting to give ancient education with English speaking. But here Macaulay was not giving importance to the Indian knowledge. So in those days English education spread, but it was making only English speaking people, nothing more than that. In 1857, some universities started first time, as like Mumbai, Madras, and Kolkata. At these three places, universities started. So, in 1857, it is said that three universities started. By giving English education, Britishers were getting educated workforce. I repeat, by giving English education, Britishers were getting educated workforce. So it was useful for them to give job to the Indians who were speaking English, right? Also developed in later period, it became helpful for Indians to develop nationalistic mindset, because many more books our English language knowing youth started to read from all over the world. So in that way, the nationalist thinking started to develop in India, in the educated Indians in the later period. But earlier it could be said that education was used to develop educated and Englishized workforce from Indian people, right? So it is clear that English was used as an instrument to make the Indian English speaking, right? Okay, now we understand that what was the use of inventions coming in India, as like many machines were invented to support industries, transportation, communication methods. So Indians were seeing to these new machinery as British supporting, means useful for convenience of easy running of British administration in India. These instruments were used, is Indian thinking. And also it is true that it was strategically important for Indians, for Britishers, strategically important for military in British rule to send their weapons from one place to another place through railway, and to give messages to support one Britisher from the other Britisher. It was required. So railway, communications, transportation and communication became part of support to each other. For Britishers, it was useful. Right, my friends? So in those days, the first railway started, we all know that, in 1853, right? So it was used to spread support in one place to another place. So it was used for effective control by Britishers over India. Also, modern method of post and telegraph were introduced in India in 1854, which supported circulation of messages from India to England fast. In India, it was a period when printing press started, and Newspapers started to publish and circulate in very fast process. So remember, post, telegraph, telecommunication, railway transportation, all were the required for Britishers to control over Indians, and it was considered as the same. So you understand very well that Britishers made these reforms not only for convenience of Indians, but it was purely started for convenience of British rule. Remember. So in later period it became blessings for India. For growing up, nationalism, it is a different thing. But when it was started, it was not for Indians, but it was for Britishers administration, easy, make it easy and support. The class coming with the acquiring English knowledge were supporting social reforms, and later the nationalism emerged, as I said, by getting knowledge from the world. Because now Indian youth started to understand changes coming in the world by reading many publications in English language. So in those days, on one side, we can say that people were angry against the social evils and customs in terms of the educated Indians, I am saying. But the Orthodox were supporting to the old tradition customs in India. So they were angry against the ban of sati. But educated Indians supported ban on sati. And mostly Orthodox Indians opposed use of railway. So it was affecting to their caste-based lifestyle. But educated Indians were seeing as changes. So the impact of all these things over Indian lifestyle in different way, it could be considered. One thing more, railway brought people closer by crossing the caste barriers, and post and telegraph brought the Indians closer to each other for expressing their emotions and understanding to each other. So in that way, we can understand very clearly that these changes coming to India were not easily expected by Indians, but laterly it started to help Indians too. Right, my friends? So here I complete the discussion of chapter number 6. Okay, friends?